The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. This is Ashley Lucas. I'm the ACMS Unit Manager for State Hearings, and I would like to welcome you all to our first super user training. This training is focusing on the searches, doing searches in ACMS. I will touch briefly on reports, but most of our reports are just results of searches. So the search function in ACMS is very robust. And once you know the ins and outs of how to make those work properly, it could be a very powerful tool in getting data regarding your workload and perhaps creating reports so that you can explain what work has been happening within your units. So it is now 10:32. I have approximately 95 people signed up for this webinar. So far, I see about only half of them are here, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you have any questions during the webinar, there is a question box in your webinar dashboard there. Feel free to type those in, and I'll be checking that question box periodically and answering those as we go along. Currently, everyone is in mute mode, so if you do have a question, that is the only way to be able to communicate with me. I'll go ahead and start now. Okay, so why do we do searching? Very robust system in ACMS. You can pull any of the information regarding a certain set of cases, and this is very crucial. And this information will provide state hearings and all of our business partners with metrics regarding their cases and their workloads. And because the data in ACMS is continuously being updated, you have to remember that the search results that you are getting are only a snapshot in time of the data whenever you conduct the search. So if you conduct the same search tomorrow, it may be a little bit different because those cases that were returned in your results may have changed status or may have been heard, or something may have changed in that case where it's no longer part of the data set that you've been searching. So keep that in mind. When we do our searches, it's just a snapshot of what is happening at that moment in time in ACMS. All right, so I'm going to go over the two different kinds of searches that we have in ACMS. We have standard searches and we have advanced searches. Honestly, there are also appeal searches and claimant searches. However, most of our focus for doing this data mining is really for appeal information rather than claimant information. So a lot of our searches will be in the appeal area. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to pull up ACMS here, and I'm going to go into the search function in the navigation bar. And as you can see, there's an appeal search. Let me change my role to something a little more manageable here. Okay. If you hover over search, you're going to see that you have a couple of options here. You have an appeal search and you have a claimant search. So if you're looking at appeal search, you're looking at information that's within that appeal portion of ACMS data. If you're looking at claimant searches, you're looking more for those profile information, so that personal information regarding a particular claimant. So a lot of the times, we don't really do claimant searches. We do for when we're looking for a particular person, when we're trying to do some information, looking for a particular case or something like that. But when we're looking at metrics put all together for our work, we're typically looking at appeals. So that's where my focus is going to lie. And the first thing I'm going to do is go over the standard search. The standard search is pretty easy. You've got a screen that looks like this when you go into the standard search. And it gives you a lot of choices there. And the standard search, this is how you get there, search, appeal, standard search, and you get to this screen that you see right here. And you could see that there's a lot of different data, lines of data right there. So ACMS organizes our data into elements and fields. So the main sections of the profile and the appeal, like I said before, the personal claimant information is in the profile, and then the appeal case information is located in the appeal. The data objects that you saw, let me pull up that screen again. So quick appeal standard search. These are data objects right here. And those are the appeal information, contact, decision, document, hearing, issue, note, and task. If those look very familiar to you, they should. Those are all the tabs that you see at the top of the appeal page. So these are all the tabs that you look at when you're looking at an appeal. So in standard searches, you can identify what data elements within that object that you want to search for. So the search results will display the following elements. Every time you do a standard search, these are the information that's going to get returned to you. You're going to get the filing date for that appeal, for the cases that match your search criteria. And I will be doing a demo of this later, so you'll see exactly what I mean by this. But when you do a standard search, you get specific information, and this right here is the information you will get. Once you do get a list of cases that match your search criteria, if you wanted to get any more information regarding that case, you can just simply click on that case and be taken right to that appeal. Okay, so let me give you a little demo of that right quick. So let me say I am looking for appeals that are for the responsible agency is equal to, I got to get it to load here, so we're waiting patiently for this to load up. So I'm going to say the responsible agency is equal to Los Angeles County. If I hit the search button right now, it's going to show me all the appeals where Los Angeles County is the responsible agency. That's probably going to be a lot of appeals. So I might want to narrow that down. Let's say that I want to look at filing dates that are between November 1st and November 30th. So now that's going to shorten it up a little bit. So I'm going to get all the Los Angeles County cases that were filed between November 1st and November 30th. So let's go ahead and hit the search button, and that's going to show me all those appeals. There we go. Now, if I wanted to dive down deeper into any of these cases, all I have to do is click on anywhere on the line, and that's going to pull up the information regarding that case. Now, remember I told you when we do a standard search, it returns specific information. I didn't get to pick and choose what I saw. It's going to tell me the filing date, the case number, all of these things, and that never changes when you do a standard search. If you wanted a little bit more control over your searching, you're going to want to do an advanced search, and I will demo that later and show you how to pick the different things that get returned to you. Okay, so let's take a look at that appeal data object. There's lots of information that's inside that appeal data object. So what am I talking about when I say appeal data object? Well, let me pull up the standard search, and I'm going to reset my search criteria. That's this one right here. So when I open up this data object, it's going to give me lots of different fields to search on. So let's look at that really quickly. Things like case numbers, the appeal state and reason. Anyways, you can read all of the different things that are on the appeal data object. On the next slide, because there's so much, here are the rest of the fields that you will find in the appeal data object. So as you can see, there's lots and lots of stuff to check on. So now let's look at that contact data object. What's the contact data object? looking at your standard search screen, that's this object right here, contact. And now we all know that in ACMS, that contact tab has the people associated with the case. So you're going to see that kind of information. You're going to see the relationship to the beneficiary. I'm not quite sure what other is. If it's a AR, their agency firm, or if it's an HR, it'll be their agency firm, first name, last name, date of birth. So these are information that you're going to see in the contact tab and the contact data object. Going on, looking at the decision data object, that's the next in line. This is information regarding the decision. So if you're looking for decisions that were released during a specific time, you're going to be looking at the adopt dates or maybe the cert dates. If you're looking for all of your decisions that had a grant, this is where you'd look at it. If you're looking for specific issue codes, you can put that, that information in here. Decision status. You can go into the search and take a look and see what choices you have. I believe decision status, let's go ahead and take a quick look at decision status and see what kind of choices it gives you. Okay, so you can see where a decision is in the process. Has it been released? Is the decision a proposed decision? Is it just awaiting the ALJ to write it? So you can see the different statuses right here for your decision. And then, of course, there's the data document object. Now this, we all know that the document tab is where all the documents live. So you can find a certain information. You want to see all the claimant documents, or you want to search based on, oh, I don't know, exhibits, anything that was an exhibit. So you can take a look at all of these different fields that are available to you in the document data object. And of course, there's the hearing data object, and that has things like the hearing status. Hearing date and time is a big search field that we like to see a lot. On occasion, we like to see search based on a law judge. Mostly that's going to be for our PJs or maybe our support staff. So you can see the different things that you can search on inside the hearing data object. And here's some more. This is part 2 of the hearing data object. Let's see, anything here that I search on very much? Not really. And then there is the issue data object. This is used quite a bit because you're looking for specific cases. If you're looking for all your CalFresh cases, you would go looking into program. If you were looking for dual cases for Covered California, you'd look at subprogram equal to dual. The note data object, I must confess to you, I don't think that would be very helpful, but perhaps you are looking for a particular note. Maybe you're the person that wrote it and you remember what you wrote. So you want to search for that case that had that particular note. You could do it this way. Here is the task data object. So if you're searching based on a particular task, you can use these different fields. And I have to confess, I very rarely use the task data object when I'm looking at cases. And here's some more task fields that are available to you. And I sort of did a very short demo, but I am going to go ahead and do another demo for you. Before I go on, I'm going to take a look at the questions. And I see that I have a question. Does the appeal object search return only the criteria you select? For example, if I select appeal dates, does it return only cases that meet that criteria? That is correct. So whatever you choose for your search criteria, the results you get meet only that criteria. Somebody is asking, is there a list of decision code descriptions? And I'm guessing you're talking about the issue codes. I'm sure there's one somewhere. I don't often search on decision codes. I'm thinking that there is a list somewhere. You might have to speak to our PJs or ALJs if you are interested in searching based on an issue code. Will I be sending the slides? And the answer is yes. And as a matter of fact, let me see if I can get this put into the handouts for this webinar. 1 second, and I'll try to drop that in there right now. So that way that you folks will have that information available to you. Okay, I'm dropping it right now. It should be in the handouts for the webinar. Give it a second to download, and that should be made available to you. But thank you for the reminder. Okay. Can you do a search for decision outcomes? Yes, you absolutely can. You can search for those that are granted, grant in part. Maybe you want to search for everything that wasn't a denial. So you can use that field of equal, not equal to. So let's do a quick search. Whenever you're doing a standard search, whatever you pick in your decision objects and your the fields, any of these fields, whatever you select, it's going to stay in there. So if you leave ACMS and come back later, that information is going to be remembered in here. So if you're starting a fresh search, you might want to hit this reset button just to clear everything out and make sure you're starting with a fresh start, a fresh slate. That way you're not going to get some weird search results based on something that was left over from a previous search. So let's look for an appeal. Let's look for responsible agency. Let's just say Alameda County Appeals. And I want to see Alameda County appeals that are, let's see, everything as long as it's not closed. So I'm going to say not equal to closed. You can also narrow this down by choosing dates. Maybe you're looking at, let's say, I want to see all Alameda County cases that are not closed that, let's say, have a hearing date and time that is between February 1st and when you're filling this out, make sure you take a look at these format specifiers. So even though I said February 1st, it's going to get mad at me because it wants an hour, minute, and an AM and a PM. So I always pick like the very beginning of the day, like 1 AM. I'm really messing this up. 1 AM. And then I want to go through the end of February, and I'm going to say 11:59 p.m. There you go. So I've followed the format precisely so that ACMS doesn't get mad at me. So now what do I have? I've got Alameda County cases that are not closed that have a hearing date and time between these dates. So let's hit that search button and see what we come up with. Nothing. I didn't, maybe I put too much emphasis on stuff. So let me delete the hearing date and time. Apparently there are no cases. There's got to be some though. So I'm going to go with just Alameda County that are not closed. I'm hoping that search result will come. There we go. So again, we're doing a standard search. So these fields that come up are standard. And these are all the cases that belong to Alameda County, you can see. And their appeal state is not closed. So it's either heard or scheduled, maybe pending scheduling. So all of the Alameda cases. So that's helpful. Let me go back to the search screen using my breadcrumbs. Let me see if I can get a more narrow search. So you can use things that are in other objects. Let me see, Alameda County cases where the issue is, the program is, let's say CalFresh. Let's do that. And go down here. I'm going to use the search button at the bottom. There's one at the top and at the bottom. So now, again, it's giving me Alameda County cases that are not closed. Where's my appeal state? Not closed. That are CalFresh. Okay, let me look at questions. Oh, thank you, Tano. That's why I didn't get any search results. Thank you all. I put 2018. Well, that explains it. I told you ACMS is extremely picky and it wants you to be very precise on the numbers that you put in there. Okay, let me back up a tad and see if I can answer some more questions. Are we going to have private notes on ACMS? Actually, the note field is not private. It may have the private button, but you should always assume that notes are not private, that someone's going to see it. So I would recommend that you don't put anything in notes that you wouldn't say to anyone in ACMS. Can you give more information on how to search issue codes? Can you search more than one issue code at one time? I believe that you can. That question was from Claire. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. So I'm going to reset my search fields and I'm looking for decisions that have, I would probably go with like, if I'm not quite sure what and the issue code is. I personally am not familiar with issue codes, so maybe I'm going to try some of these examples that they have here and see if I can get anything to come up. Okay, 120-1, and I'll do a search and let's see what we get. Well, we have three. We have three closed cases. Of course, they're going to be closed because a decision was issued, and here are the programs. And so these probably have decisions that have that issue code. How do I know that? I'll have to dig in deep. I can go into them and then look at that particular document and find the issue code that way. Because I am in the live environment, I am very hesitant to open up documents pertaining to cases because of, privacy. So we'll just have to assume that that particular one worked out well. But I'm going to go back to searching. Hopefully, Claire, that answered your question. Let's see. Can we select a range of file dates? For example, cases filed between January and January 31st for Sacramento County is responsible. Absolutely, you can. You can pick a responsible agency. You can pick file dates. You can pick a range of dates. You can pick a particular date. I don't see an option to enter an end date for the file date object. Yes, Juliet, you can. So let me show you what that looks like. So you would go under appeal and you're looking at the filing date. So you're going to say, instead of equal to, you're going to say between. You can go before a particular date, you can go after a particular date, or you can go between. When you select between, this other field pops up. So you're going to have your start, and then you're going to have your end, and make sure your end year doesn't go before your begin year, and you will get search results. Thank you for that question. Okay. Oh, Claire gave me an issue code I can search on. So let me go down here. Did this remember my decision? No. So let's go here. And she said decision 1500. So let's do that. So I'll go back up, find my search button, click search. And we patiently wait for our results. Here we go. We have lots and lots of ones that have decision code 1500. Now, if you wanted to narrow that down by making a specific, let's say, responsible agency, I'm going to go back to my search results and I'm going to say, I just want to see those decision codes 1500 where the responsible agency was Los Angeles. Now, let me go back up and hit that search. And that's going to narrow my results down to just the Los Angeles County cases that have a decision with issue code 1500. And there you go. I hope that answered your question, Claire. Let's see, what else? Can a search be done by the date hearing request is received by the county in lieu of the filing date? I don't think that particular field is available, like the date the hearing request was received by the county. Since the only date we really have is a filing date, the other option you might have is a creation date. Let me look here and see if there is a creation date, created date. That might be, let's see who's asking this. Jose, this might be closer to the date, but this created date, depending on if you're one of those counties that online your own appeal, that created date would probably be closer to the date that your hearing request was received. Now, if you're a county that sends your hearing requests to state hearings and we online those for you, that might be a little bit off because there's that lag time between the time you got it and by the time we online it. So although created date might give you a little bit closer to that information, that might be your best bet there. I hope that answers your question, Jose. Why doesn't the hearing rep's name show up after you do the search? LV, that's a really good question. It did at one point in time, but because we wanted a more robust way to track our hearing representatives, plus we wanted things like backup hearing representatives and such, we moved the hearing reps into the contacts tab. Once we've done that, it became not just a field that pops in, but a more of a data element within an object. So I can show you how to get that information. It's a little bit trickier, but we can do it. And I'm going to be doing an advanced search that shows you how you can get the name of the hearing representatives. So hang in there, LV. It's coming right up. Julius. Let's see. What if a claimant wants to have an in-person ALJ for a scopes case? Is the county of residence becomes a responsible party? And that's from Ansel. Ansel, I don't think the county of residence is actually an involved party or a responsible party, but they will be where the in-person hearing will take place. And I know that the Scopes folks could probably give you more insight into that, but we do take that into account. For example, if a person has an appeal, say they were living in Sacramento County and they had an issue with some sort of benefit. And now they've moved, let's say, to Placer County, and they can't make it to Sacramento County for an in-person hearing. They've requested an in-person hearing. ACMS is smart enough to know that this person lives in in Placer County, but the issue is against Sacramento County. So it'll probably schedule that in-person hearing over in Placer County, even though Sacramento County is the responsible party. And I hope that answers your question. All right. Can you export Tano? Yes, you absolutely can export your search results. Not the standard search results, but when I go into the advanced search results, you can absolutely do that. And I highly recommend that you do that because then you can manipulate it a little bit, and I will show you how to do that. Can you search for non-appearance decisions? Absolutely, you can. Let me quickly go to that. let's see. You're going to want to do, let's see, status reason right here. You're going to go to in the appeal object. You're going to look for decisions released that are non-appearance. Where is it? Where is it? Right here. Dismiss non-appearance. Right there. So if you do that, what do I have? Los Angeles County, and I have non-appearance. Do I have any other data in here? No. So let's go ahead and hit search. And this should show me all the Los Angeles cases that were a non-appearance. Ha ha ha, that's not right. I don't know why it's saying 0. It probably doesn't like something. I probably have something in my search results are not, okay, let's see. I would probably not use a standard search for that one, Nicole. I would probably use an advanced search to find those. Can we see all cases where prior non-appearance but the case was reopened? Yes. And again, I would use an advanced search for that. So the standard search that we're doing right now is really for the quickie, easy searches. You're probably going to want a more robust search if you're looking for something in particular. So here's an example of the different operators that you can find in the standard searches. So equal to, not equal to. For dates, you have before, after, and between. If it's a text field, you have like or not like or starts with or ends with. So these are different things you can do for your searches to help find the data you're looking for. All right, moving on. Now we're going to go into the advanced search. Again, you're going to hover over search, slide down to appeal, hover over appeal, and you're going to select advanced search. What do you get? Advanced searches are a little more robust. Those are more like reports. Like the standard searches, you're going to identify what particular data elements will be the criteria for your search. And then again, just like your results in standard search, you can click on the results that are shown and dive into those cases. But unlike standard search, you can control what information is displayed in your results. So let me pull this up. In your advanced search tab, you have a search criteria, you have columns, organizational unit, display options, and properties. So let's take a look at what the heck am I talking about. So I'm going to go to search, I'm going to appeal, and I'm going to advanced search. So what I'm talking about here on my slide are these tabs and what they mean. So let me make sure that my next slide, I'm not jumping the gun here. Okay, so I'm diving into each of these tabs, and it's in your presentation that you can pick up in the handouts. If you are not able to grab that PowerPoint, just shoot me an email and I will try to get it to you via email. All right, selecting your data object. Remember in the standard searches we had all those data objects? Well, that is mimicked here under the search criteria tab. So you have your appeal, contact, decision, et cetera, same stuff. And then the next thing, when you click on one of these data objects, it's going to open the data elements. Now that's exactly the same as the ones that you saw in the standard search. So you have all the different fields that are within that particular object. And then remember in the box I had the equal to, not equal to. Here's your operator right there. And then of course the value, it's going to change depending on what things you have selected in these boxes. Okay, now the search criteria tab is what are you looking for? So if you are looking for Los Angeles County cases, that's going to be a search criteria. I want only the open cases. That's a search criteria. I want only where the hearing rep is equal to a specific person. That's a search criteria. The next thing we're going to look at is the columns tab. What is that? What are columns? Well, again, this should look very familiar. Those are all the different objects. And once you select one of these, it's going to show you all the elements that are in that object. And then you can pick and choose what you're going to see on your report. So remember I told you on the standard searches, the headings are all pre-chosen. You don't get to pick. Well, this is where you're going to pick those headings for your advanced search. So you can search, and when you do a criteria search, you're going to want to probably see the case number. You're probably going to want to see the claimant's first and last names. That's kind of a column that you're going to want to see all the time. And I will be doing an example of this after we're done talking about all these little tabs. Okay, let's see, more questions. Can we see cases that were prior non? Yes, Ansel, I will show you how to do that search too. Organizational unit tab. Now, you can filter your search results to show only specific organizational units. Your user role already limits that, so if you're from a particular organization, your search results will only display your organization's results anyways. But if you happen to be a state hearings person, you might want to specify a particular organizational unit. Usually I do that in the search criteria. So I very, very, very rarely even go into any of these tabs at all because everything is available under this search criteria. But I'll let you know what they are. Display options are exactly what you think they are. How do I want this displayed? And I remember earlier someone, Tano, was asking if we can display as Excel. So yes, and this is one place you can do it, but I usually go someplace else to do that, and I'll show you what that looks like. Properties. The Properties tab is doing the different search, saving it. So if you created a wonderful search, and it can get a little harrowing picking out all the search criteria and picking out the columns and arranging it just right so it displays exactly like you like it. You never want to have to go through that again. So you're going to want to save that search. So you're going to probably do a save as, give it a really nice name, give it a good description, so that you can remember what the search is. I like to put in here like the things I need to change. Like be sure to change the dates to get updated dates. I put that kind of information in the description. All right. Choosing criteria in different data objects will generate a report with duplicate results. And I'm sure you guys have done this. So let me pull this up so that I can show you what this looks like. It's demo time anyways. Okay, so here I have the advanced search. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. Let me zoom just a smidge. Okay, hopefully everybody has a good view there. And I'll do an advanced search. So what I'm looking for are CalFresh cases that have been a grant that was released between September 1st and December 31st. So how am I going to find that information? So CalFresh is an issue. It's a program. So it's going to be under Issue tab, and I'm going to go into Program, and I want it to equal to CalFresh. So CalFresh should be one of the things that I get to pick here. So CalFresh. Now that I know, okay, I want all my CalFresh cases. So I'm going to hit Add. So now it's just going to give me CalFresh cases. And I want CalFresh cases where the decision was a grant. Well, where am I going to find the decision as a grant? Well, it's under the decision object, and it is the decision outcome equal to a grant. So I'm going to add that so that now I'm going to get CalFresh where a decision was granted. All right. Now, that's great, but I don't want all the decisions that were granted. I only want the decisions that were granted between September 1st and December 31st. So I'm going to go back to that decision tab, and I'm going to get the release date, and these are in alpha order. So I'm going to go to release date, and I'm going to say it's between September, and you guys watch my dates because you know I type in the wrong years. September 1st and December 31st. Okay, I think I got it right. So I'm going to hit add. So now I have everything that I need. If I were to hit the search button now, it's going to give me a column that says CalFresh. It's going to give me a column that says grant, and it's going to give me a column with a date. Well, that's not going to be very helpful. So what I need to do is tell this report to give me some other information. So I'm going to go into the columns tab, and you can see the things that I've chosen are already there. But I need to also see the case number. And I'd like to know the claimant's first name and last name, probably the last name, then the first name. And let's see, what else do I want to know? I might want to know what the due date is. So let's put that in there. Great. Oh, and some folks were saying, what about the hearing rep? So the hearing rep lives in the contact tab, right? So I'm going to select the contact tab. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. So you're going to want the contact, and you're going to get the first and last name. And you're going to want, see if I can, I believe it is the attendance type, contact type. That's it right there. Contact type. And you guys are going, what? Contact type. Remember, your contact type is where you pick whether it's a beneficiary, primary hearing representative, other hearing representative. That's contact type. There's your secret to getting your hearing rep. And then first name and last name, because you're going to need to know that contact type. You're going to want to know who it is. Okay, so we've got a lot of great information here. So I'm looking at CalFresh cases. I got all of this. Now, you can see that all of these boxes are checked. Now I know that it's going to return CalFresh cases. So I don't really need to see a column that all just says CalFresh. So if I uncheck that, it's still going to look for CalFresh only, but it's not going to make a column that just says CalFresh, right? Also, I know that the decision is going to be granted, right? That was one of our criteria. So I can leave this here, and it'll have a column just says grant, 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 grant. Or I can unclick it and just not have the column that just says grant, 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 grant. So I'm just going to leave it there so that you guys can see that it's there. But let's say we've got a release date. We already specified that's between September 1st and December 31st. And we have this. Oh, I really want this name to be last name, then first name. You can rearrange these things by just going up and down right here. So I want the last name to come before the first name. So I'm going to move this up, and you can see now that last name comes before first name. So you could do that and rearrange these columns to be exactly how you like it. Now, if I hit search, I should get some search results. Drum roll, please. All right, here we go. So we have some that, okay, we're looking at two different data objects, right? We're looking at the issue data object, and we're looking at the decision data object. And also we asked it to return contacts. So this looks like a really weird thing here because I got the same case twice, because it's looking for a particular thing and returning this from one object, and from the other object it's looking for the person, the contact that was in a different, that is housed in a different object. So you're going to get two hits. So I can see here that the primary hearing representative was Lynetta. As I scroll down, you're going to see that everything is going to be like that. This one, since I didn't specify what kind of contact I was looking for, it also gave me the claimant here. So I don't need to see that. So this is why I'm recommending for your advanced searches to, when you get your search results like this, instead export it to Excel. So how in the world do you do that? So if you look down, so you're getting all your results one way, multiple times. And then you're going to go down here, and this is where it's getting that grant information and the release date. So this is where it's getting the object of the decision object information. So it's kind of all scrambled, but if you think about it, it's all in the same order. So this first case here is the same as this first case here, but it's not readily available, apparent right now. But if you export this to Excel, let me show you how to do a little bit of magic. So that's great. I'm going to go back, wonderful results. I'm going to go back to the other tab that has my search criteria. I worked really hard getting this stuff. I'm going to save this. So I'm going to say save as, and I'm going to call this right. And then I had special dates in here. Right. So then if I need to do different dates, I'll know to go in there and change the criteria. So I'm going to hit save. And it's saved. How do I know that? So I'm going to go into my saved searches, and I should see it in there. Okay. Oh, here it is. Advanced search demo. And then I have those dates. So under your saved searches, it's going to be right there. So now what I want to do, I know it's going to give me good results. I'm going to hit this Excel, and it's going to export it into Excel. Great. Now it says, do you want to open this? Yes, I absolutely do want to open this. Here we go. Let me make these fields a little bit bigger so it looks a little bit nicer. All right. Okay. Now the next thing you should do is put filters on here. So if you go in, highlight your headers, you go into your data and hit filters. And now what we want to see in the contact type, we only want to see the primary hearing representative. So let's block out everything else and say okay. So now this narrows it down quite a bit, but that's not very helpful because I need that information regarding the decision outcome and the release date. So let me undo that filter. And now I am going to sort by the case number. So I'm going to highlight all of that information. Oops. And then I'm just going to sort this, and I'm going to say sort it by the case number. So now all of my case numbers are the same. You know, all of this that involves this one case is right here. And I can just move this right up here and delete this one. And you have all the information that you need. So it's a little bit tricky, but it's doable. It's doable. So you have a nice report. These two you don't care about. So, oh, yeah. So eventually you would have your information. So we can say release date, November and December. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I don't know if there's a filter where you can filter on two things, but you can definitely see where this will return the results you're looking for. And remember, these are all CalFresh cases. We asked for that specifically, but I told it not to return the column that says CalFresh. And I left the grant in there. So the ones that are granted are still here. But honestly, I know that these are all grants. So I could leave that column out as well. All right. Let me get into the questions under properties. Will there be any standard reports saved? Yes. There are some standard reports, Dina. You're going to find those standard reports. Let me move this aside. Right here under reporting. If you go into shared reports, you can find some reports that are already built out. But I always recommend building your own searches Or if you have a particular search that you want done and you're trying to get it done and you just can't, you can't get it to work right, please just let us know at acms@dss.ca.gov, or let me know. My name's Ashley Lucas. There's my email right up there, and I can help you do a report. All right, let's see. Let's go back to my saved searches and go back to that demo search that I had. So let me pull that up and let me show you how you can share this search with some people. So these are the results. I don't really want the results. I need to go back to the actual search stuff. Here we go. If you wanted to share this wonderful search you made with some of your colleagues, you could do that. So you were going to go up here to shared permissions, just give it a click. It's going to bring up a box, and you can share it two different ways. You can share it with a particular user, or you can share it with a particular all users with the role. I don't think the group feature is being used, so don't do that one. All users with the role or with a particular user. So let's just say I wanted to share this with, since I'm a county user, it's going to give me all the different county users that are here. Let's see. I'm going to share it with Nicole. So I'm going to look for Nicole. She is in here somewhere. Nicole, there she is. And I'm going to hit save. And now when Nicole signs into ACMS and she goes up into, okay, we're done with this. Let me close this box. And she goes up into search, and she would go into shared searches, and she would see my search that I shared with her in her list. Typically, when I share a search with somebody, I let them know it's called this, so that way they can find it in this huge list of shared searches. So I would say, Nicole, you go check your shared searches. It's called Advanced Search Demo, and she would go in there and she'd be able to see it. All right. So let me go back to my saved searches. Let's pull up that advanced search demo again. I think it's going to give me results, isn't it? Yes. I don't want the results. I want the actual criteria. Let me show you, if you needed to change things up, how you would do that. Waiting. All right. So here you are at the search criteria. Now let's just say I don't really want to know CalFresh cases. I want to know a different program. If you just hit this pencil, you can change that. So it's going to pull up the information up here. Loading. Wait for it to load completely. Let's say we want to change that to a different program. First of all, we have to be super patient. I take this time to close off any tabs I am not using. Yeah, this is good. Come on. But anyways, you would just click on the pencil, and then you can change whatever it is to a different program. It's going to give you the drop-down values for all the programs, and you can select that. If you wanted to change the dates, you can do that as well. Just hit the pencil. Let me see if I can get this to change. There we go. A little bit better. You just hit the pencil. You can put in your new dates. Now you want to do it for the next quarter. So you're going to go January 1st, 2019 to whatever. And then hit the update button, and that's going to update this. But it's going to keep all your columns that you had specified. So that's pretty nice. Let's see if there are any questions that I haven't answered yet. How do you have the county, both the responsible agency and other involved agency in the same report? I think I know. If you want to see all the agencies, Elizabeth, I think is what you're asking for in your search. If you're looking for all the agencies, all you have to do is select that under your columns. So let's just say you want to know all the different agencies. Just slide down here and click on your responsible agency. That'll add that as a column. And then there's involved agencies somewhere. Maybe not. Responsible agencies. Yeah, I would just say responsible agency. I don't think they have involved agency on here at all. I would think it'd be around here somewhere. It might be in the issue test. Let's look. Nope. Okay. Are there any plans for making the exported reports a little more user-friendly? It seems like a lot of work to get the data in a readable format. Yeah, and so it's just being able to manipulate Excel because of the way ACMS is set up. Those tabs don't interact with each other, so the data that is housed in each of those tabs is going to display a result. And if you pick results that are all in one tab, it's going to be a really nice report. But if you pick things that are in different data elements then or objects, then you're gonna have like double lines. So I don't foresee anything like that happening. Maybe in the not in the near future for sure, but you'll just have to, you can get the information and it will display, but you're just going to have to be able to manipulate it in Excel. It gets a little easier when you do less information, let's say from different data objects. I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Are there any plans to export? Okay, next question is, Rosia wants to know if updates to a shared report are made, can the other parties see the updates? No, once somebody shares it with you and you make it your own, that's yours. You'd have to rename it and share it back. Can you search multiple programs at once? That is interesting. I haven't really tried that. So I don't think you can. Let's take a look at the search criteria. I believe, do you see this logical operator here? If you wanted to do different programs, I know. If you wanted to do different programs, let's see, program, you could do this contains any. So then you can pick CalFresh and CalWorks and MediCal, and that'll get all of those. I hope that answers your question, Elizabeth or Eliza. Not all. Oh, okay. Not all, Elizabeth. Okay, let's see. Oops, I lost my place in the questions. So I'm going to start at the bottom. So we can pull a hearing calendar of all our reps on one report. Yes. How would you pull a hearing calendar? I almost would do a hearing calendar with that on the homepage using that calendars and hearings things, but I believe that you would be able to do that. You would probably want to, let me start over. So you're going to go Appeal, Advanced Search. We're going to start fresh here. You all must be practicing searching. That's why my system's slow, huh? All right. How do I add a new criteria to my existing advanced search, i.e. a new criteria that was not previously included? Okay, Juliet, once you have a search, you can change it up as much as you like. And then you can save it with a new name if you want to keep it. If you just want to do it at a one-time thing, then you can just change it and run it, and it's a one-time deal. Or can and the other involved agency. Elizabeth. Yeah, if you just do responsible agency, I believe that's going to bring up even if you're an involved agency. That one I'm going to have to test, Elizabeth. If you update information on a saved report, then use the pencil to update the information. Will you lose the previously saved data? Great question, Jose. No. Once a report is shared or saved, it stays the same unless you save over it. It's just like a new document. That document lives as long as you don't overwrite it. So give your new report, if you change information on your search, give it a new name. If it's a one-time search, just do the search with the pencil and don't save it and you're good to go. So once a search is saved, it's saved forever unless you change it and change the name. Especially if it's a shared search. Like if it's a search I did and I shared with you, you can go in there and change it around, but you'll never be able to change the search that I shared with you. All right. I hope that answers your question. Let's see. We're talking to we want to do like a hearing calendar. What was it? A hearing calendar that shows a particular hearing rep, or a hearing rep. Is Elizabeth, are you looking for a particular hearing rep or all your hearing reps for your agency? That's a good question. So let's just say I'm a hearing rep and I want to see all the hearings that are mine. So I'm going to say the hearing is hearing date and time. So I'm going to have to do a hearing date and time between, let's say, February. So I'm just going to use the calendar. That's another easy way to do it. And just say February, like 2 a.m. to February 28th p.m. That way I'll capture everything for the entire day. Nothing's going to be missing. And I'm going to add that. So this is going to give me all the hearings between these dates. And I want to see just my hearings. So I am a contact. And I am, let's see, my last name is equal to Lucas, but I should do somebody who's in there. So is there somebody who's, I wonder if Elizabeth is hearing. Let's try you, Elizabeth. And I'm going to add that in there. And let's see if you have any hearings where you are a contact in them. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, y'alls. Oh, remember I didn't pick my columns. So my search results are going to be weird. But at least you'll say, okay, of course. Nothing. Okay. Let me go back. Let me change it. I'm going to say like. So that might be easier. Now let's pick some columns. You probably want to know the case number, the first name, last name. You probably want to know the hearing date. No, we already have that. You might want to know the issue. So let's find out what the program is. Okay, now that looks good. Now let's hit search and see if we get anything. Drum roll, please. Try, okay, got it. I'm not a rep. Okay, so Elizabeth's letting me know it's not going to come up. So let me try. She said try Garibay. So let's do that. Let me go back to my appeals. Yeah, of course, because she's not a hearing rep. She just told me. Okay, did I get this hearing daily? Did I get on the first name? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so search criteria, change this to Garibay, Garibay. Am I right? Got it. Okay, so I'm going to update that. So it's changed. And I'm going to do the search. So let's see what happens. Oh, it's giving me, is it giving me something? Oh, it is a little bit like magic, I know. But this may be what you all are looking for as far as, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, here we go. Yay. So I can see that she is a rep for these cases. That's not too bad, right? Here's the case number. And remember, we're picking two different things. We have a hearing thing and a contact thing. So I know I'm going to have 2 lines for every single one, but that's not too bad. So she's going to be, Garaby is the hearing rep for this case, and it's an ACA case, and this case is a Medi-Cal case. So that's one way. And then down here, you're going to see these are the hearing date and time. So this is one of those ones that we're going to want to transfer into Excel and make it look really pretty so that the date matches up with the case numbers, blah, blah, blah. So again, with this one, I would transfer it into Excel so we can make it look really, really nice. But there you go. I hope that answers your question. Does that help? All right. We are over by 6 minutes, but I think I am done with my presentation. Let me make sure that there's no other information. Here at the end of my PowerPoint, we have our website and our email address where you can get a hold of us. And of course, you can contact us on our option 6 on the IVR number. Thank you for joining my first super user webinar on searches. If you do come up with any questions, because you know it's a 3-day weekend, I know you're going to be thinking about searching all 3 days, just shoot an email to this email address up on your screen, and we will be very happy to answer that on Tuesday morning. Have a very wonderful weekend, and again, thank you very much for attending.